The Witch Queen DLC was released with much fanfare plus some great weapons, which have become regulars in my daily loadouts. Well, today I'm going to check out some of the best weapons to release with the Witch Queen expansion, plus how to get them, and also the good rolls to look out for. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. And roughly 98% of viewers who watch This Week in Video Games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Well, let's dive right into the list of the best weapons to get in the Witch Queen expansion. And first of all, we've got Aisha's Embrace. So this one is a legendary energy void scout rifle with a rapid fire frame, meaning it fires full auto with deeper ammo reserves, and also you got faster reload when the weapon is empty. So this weapon, as with other Trials of Osiris weapons this season, comes with a couple of basic origin traits. So we got Alacrity, so you gain increased reload and stability and aim assist and range when you're the last living member of your fire team running solo, and also One Quiet Moment, so grants increased reload speed when you're out of combat. So with this one, for PvE, Arrowhead Break, high caliber rounds, triple tap and Vorpal Weapon would be a decent roll, whereas for PvP, Corkscrew Rifling, Ricochet Rounds, Compulsive Reloader and Multi-Kill Clip would be the one to go for. To get this one, you have to run Trials of Osiris, which is around most weekends, except for when Iron Banner is on. So you can play Trials of Osiris matches and earn Trials engrams, which can then be focused with Saint 14 to get Aisha's Embrace. And it can also randomly drop from the end of matches too, but it's likely you're going to have to win a few matches before you get to that point. Well, next up we got a fantastic auto rifle, so this one is Krait. And Krait is a legendary kinetic auto rifle with a rapid fire frame, meaning it's got deeper ammo reserves, and slightly faster reload when the magazine is empty. Krait is a stasis rapid fire auto, meaning it could be one of the best PvE auto rifles in the game right now, as well as the vast perk pool. It comes with the Vice Stinger origin trait and allows the weapon to reload simply by doing damage. For PvE, Corkscrew Rifling, Appended Mag, Subsistence, Headstone would be a great roll, and for PvP, Small Bore, High Caliber Rounds, Overflow and Moving Target would be the one to look out for. Krait is a world drop weapon and part of the world loot pool at the moment, meaning there's no 100% way to farm the weapon, unfortunately, but you can get this from ranking up at Banshee 44, and also by completing world activities like Lost Sectors, public events, and opening loot chests. Also, keep an eye on Banshee 44's weekly inventory, and I do a video each week at Weekly Reset, so make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell to never miss a Banshee update. Next up, we got one of my personal favourites. It's Insidious, and this one is a legendary energy pulse rifle that has an aggressive burst, meaning it's a hard-hitting 4-burst fire. For PvE, Arrowhead Break, Accurized Rounds, Rapid Hit and Rampage would be good. For PvP, Chambered Compensator, Tactical Mag, Rapid Hit and Vorpal Weapon would be the best roll. And to get Insidious, you have to run the Witch Queen raid called the Vow of the Disciple. You can find that on the Throne World. Insidious has a chance to drop from the 2nd and the 4th encounters, so that's Caretaker and Rolk. To run the raid, you're going to need access to the Witch Queen expansion, and you'll need 5 other Guardians. Well, next up we got the first exotic weapon of the list, and this one is Osteo Striga. So this one is an exotic kinetic submachine gun. It comes with some very interesting perks, including Screaming Swarm, so fires a stream of sentient toxic projectiles that track the targeted enemy, and Toxic Overload, so landing a final blow or multiple precision hits triggers a burst that poisons nearby targets. To get this exotic submachine gun, there are a couple of requirements. You have to get the deluxe version of the Witch Queen expansion, you have to finish the campaign and complete the weapon crafting quest in the campaign with the glaive. That is the first few missions. So once you finish up the campaign, go over to your patterns on the Triumphs tab, then navigate to submachine guns, and there you'll find the Osteo Striga. You can unlock the pattern and then it's time to craft the weapon. So make your way to the crafting station at the Enclave, and then you want to approach the station and approach the relic itself. Then navigate to the submachine gun section, you'll be able to select the Osteo Striga. Once you've selected it, pick the perks, craft the weapon by selecting the exotic icon on the right hand side of the screen, and the prompt says finalise the shape. And that is it, you've got a brand new Osteo Striga exotic submachine gun. Next up we got one of the big surprises of this list, and this is the Palmyra-B. This one is a legendary stasis power rocket launcher with a precision frame, meaning the weapon fires a small auto-tracking missile, and missiles lock onto targets when aimed. This is a Hake weapon, so the basic origin trait is Hake Breach Armaments, and the weapon deals increased damage against vehicles, turrets, barricades, and stasis crystals. For PvE, Volatile Launch, Impact Casing, Auto-Loading Holster, and Explosive Light or Chain Reaction would be good, whereas for PvP, Quick Launch, Black Powder, Impulse Amplifier and Adrenaline Junkie would be a decent roll. So you can get this weapon by opening legendary engrams as a reward from the end of activities, plus you can often buy this weapon from vendors like Zur or Banshee 44 in the tower. And Banshee 44 has sold it quite a lot this season, so I would keep an eye on Banshee 44 in particular. Next up we've got Submission. This is another favourite of mine. So Submission is a legendary kinetic submachine gun with a lightweight frame, meaning the weapon has superb handling, and you move faster with the weapon equipped. For PvP, corkscrew rifling, accurized rounds, overflow and frenzy would be good, whereas PvE, arrowhead break, tactical mag, subsistence and swashbuckler would be the best. So the Vow of the Disciple raid weapons come with an origin trait called Soul Drinker. This is where you gain health based on the number of hits before reloading. And to get the submission, you do have to run the Witch Queen raid, and the submission has the chance to drop from the first, the second and the third encounters, so Acquisition, Caretaker and Exhibition. Next up we have another raid weapon. This one is Collective Obligation, and Collective Obligation is an exotic energy pulse rifle. And look at the perks, we've got Void Leech, so the weapon leeches void debuffs when damaging targets that are suppressed, weakened or volatile. So once charged you swap firing modes, and in this mode you can damage the weapon that applies the same void debuffs that were leeched. Then you got Umbral Sustenance, so the weapon's magazine is automatically reloaded when you gain Devour, a Void Overshield, or become invisible. So Collective Obligation manages to create really unique playstyles that allow you to build around the void buffs and debuffs. So with Collective Obligation, you can essentially have many of the buffs and debuffs active at the same time, as long as you keep an eye on the timers and use Collective Obligation effectively. Void Leech is really the key, so it makes it one of the most unique and also one of the most effective exotic weapons out there. So it's really good, and I definitely recommend this weapon. So I have seen some reviews that don't really rate this weapon, but I reckon if you like void builds, this is one of the best weapons in the game. To get this exotic pulse rifle, you have to run the Vow of the Disciple raid. It's a random drop from the final boss, and that of course is Rulk. Now this is the only place you can get it, and if it's like the other raids, then you've probably got an approximately a 5% chance of getting it. But to maximise your chances, you can run 3 characters per week, and that way you'll have multiple chances per week to get it to drop for you. Well, finally today we've got my favourite weapon, and probably the best weapon of the Witch Queen expansion so far. This one is Funnelweb. Many people call it the Recluse 2.0. So Funnelweb is a legendary energy submachine gun with a lightweight frame, it's got superb handling, and you move faster with the weapon equipped. For PvE, corkscrew rifling, tactical mag, subsistence and frenzy would be good. And for PvP, small bore, accurized rounds, killing wind and rangefinder would be a decent roll. So Funnelweb again is a well drop weapon this season, and you can get it from many sources, including legendary engrams, leveling up at the gunsmith, public events, lost sectors. I got mine from a public event as a random drop when I was running around the throne world, but there is no 100% way to farm the weapon, so the best thing to do is complete activities that award world drop weapons, and then just keep your fingers crossed. Also, again, keep your eye on Banshee 44. He does sell a lot of Whirlpool weapons, and he hasn't sold the Funnelweb just yet, I don't think. He might have sold it in the first few weeks when we all weren't paying attention, but we are waiting for Banshee 44 to sell that absolute godroll Funnelweb, and when he does, it's going to be absolute carnage. Well, let me know in the comments what you think of the list, and give me your top 5 weapons from the Witch Queen expansion. I would love to hear what you're using and what weapons you are loving this season. Well, that is it for this list of the best weapons of the Witch Queen in Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. Or you can check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.